Andra. Oh. Sometimes it's ominous music, sometimes it's just like very visual sounding music. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell which is which. Hey,
Well,
how's it going?
It looks like there's a long line to get into the ISIS starport.
Something feels wrong here. A great disturbance here in orbit, and again on the planets below.
I guess this blockade is a symptom of larger problems on Onderon.
If they decide to do a cargo search, we're gonna be in trouble.
Looks like we're about to find out. I'm receiving a message from some Colonel Tobin. Patching it through.
The Ebon Hawk. I was told to expect your arrival. I don't know your business on Onderon, but it ends here.
Oh, great. The ship forgot to tell us it made an enemy. Or 6. Great disturbance. Long lines. Yeah, imagine being in space and still having to wait in traffic. Also,
we've taken some hits. We can try to fight back, or I can outrun them and hide us on the jungle moon nearby. It's your call.
We've captured a command post as voice. I mean, yeah. Basically sums up. So assuming these are Republic dudes, kind of my biggest motivation. I'm leaning toward running for it because whatever their beef is clearly with one of the countless previous owners of the Ebon Hawk. And not us personally, since we haven't actually been here before. Or at least not, you know, in the span of game time. And if they're Republic guys, I'd rather not pick fights if we can figure out a way to avoid it. The problem is, and I won't lie, part of me is like, oh god, that first option is volunteering to man the turret. And we all know I'm so good at that. Definitely not at all for that reason, and entirely for the whole, I don't want to shoot down Republic ships over a misunderstanding if I can help it reason. To be fair, it is mostly that. Definitely not at all influenced by the concern about my turret skills. We'd better run for it. To the moon. To the moon doesn't really sound like a run for it. Out of context, but... yeah, there's a solid reason to. If you're not going to fight, better to withdraw. True. True. Also, to be fair, I am going based on my KOTOR 1 skills, because I haven't actually had to man the turret in this game yet. So I might be better.
Just once I wish someone was glad to see us. But no, if it isn't weapons pointed at our heads, it's someone trying to blast us out of the sky.
I remember the days when welcoming committee used to mean something, without being followed by blaster bolts.
The end of that sentence was supposed to be, or I could be much, much worse. I mean... How badly is the ship damaged?
It's taken a little damage, nothing too serious. I'm shutting down all unnecessary systems until we make repairs. It'll keep us from being a target.
Any idea? Where did we land?
Looks like one of the moons of Onderon. Not sure which one. It's mostly jungle and mountain. I did pick up the remains of an old outpost near here.
Hmm.
Maybe that's why there's all these clearings around. Maybe they were once settlements.
There were no settlements here. Those clearings were most likely once craters or crash sites.
Crash sites?
This is Dxun, where the Mandalorians began their crusade against the Republic. The remains of whatever outposts you detected here are military ones. We should be careful.
This is where the Mandalorian Wars started? This doesn't look like much of a battlefield.
Much is buried here, and there is much that should remain buried.
Hey, Marathon, how's it going? Something calibration, something. Garrus. Psych! It's a Dxun stream. Interesting. Oh, you guys must have been giggling in nose things when I said something last week. I think it was last week about assuming that if you were on like a dark path, then you end up on Dxun, and if you're on a light path, maybe it's Onderon, and maybe that's why they're always listed as a slash, but only Onderon was on the map. This makes more sense. Wouldn't have thought of it myself, though. Marathon says I'm always chuckling to myself watching people first run these games. There are many discoveries to be had on a first run of these games, for sure. And I would imagine a second run as well, especially this one. I mean, I could be wrong, because I've only done the one playthrough of each, and obviously haven't even finished the one of this one, but based on what I've been seeing, it seems like a dark side run of this game would be less predictable in terms of like exactly how that looks than KOTOR 1. I could be wrong about that. There could be more like layers or possibilities to a KOTOR 1 dark side run too, but maybe it's just because of the dialogue. But now,
Well, the space battle's still going on overhead.
who are they
Since
shooting
they were
at?
so eager to use our hull for target practice, I doubt they're just gonna forget us. Well, I don't like it. Onderon is about as far from the core as you can get and still be in the Republic. But even out here, the locals have heard of us.
We're lucky I was able to find this
Or
place to
the
land.
ship, anyway.
Looks like something has cleared away the jungle in a few spots around here.
Need to get to Onderon.
Until the ship is repaired, we're not going anywhere. Unless you can find another route to Onderon, we should sit tight.
There may be a means to get to Onderon by another route. The Force has guided us here for a reason. We should explore our surroundings. There is something here.
Something? Oh, there's something here, all right. Predators. Not small flit darters, but big, mean, nasty predators.
Nevertheless, we should explore our surroundings. And that nearby outpost would be as good a place as any to begin.
I mean, it's an adventure game. Who's gonna stay with the ship? Gotta get Chris Hansen to Dxun. Right? To versus those predators. Well, let's head to the outpost then.
Well, if you go, be careful. No telling what other ships were forced down in the battle.
I have a feeling the ship will not be repaired until our business here is concluded. Do I make myself clear?
Yeah, I understand. What's so important about this place?
This is where the Mandalorian Wars began. She fought here once, and there are things here she must see.
She fought here? Why didn't she say anything?
Do you speak of all your battles? Or are there some you wish to forget?
Ooh. Chris Hansen waves his hand and Force persuades all predators to take a seat. is hilarious is that I don't know what a flip darter is, but I'm imagining those little, like, oh, you've been summoned. 1 second. Hey. I think I fixed my cat break screen, too. Oh, whoops. I did, but I haven't turned the cat cam on yet. There he is. Oh. I don't know what a flip darter is, but I'm imagining those, like, little, sort of raptor-shaped dinosaurs, but not, like, full raptor, like the little ones that, like, run around on 2 feet. I don't remember what they're called. He's pouting a little bit because of the aforementioned flea meds immediately before stream, but he got his consolation cookie, so he's not too mad. He was a good boy. He doesn't like it, but he sits still for it. Can't say I blame you. It'd feel pretty gross getting some gooey stuff squeezed where I can't get off, too. That's fair. But he was a good boy. Hope you brought your mud boots. The rapper of Alderaan. The Raptor. Didn't know Alderaan had its own signature rapper, but sure, I guess. Oh. What was that? Beans. There's a ghost. Indeed. In fact, I dare say it's probably the only channel on Twitch where you can summon them at will. Or at least the only channel on Twitch where you can redeem channel points for an immediate ghost sighting. Talking about your toe beans. The pink toe beans. Why you curl the toe beans? He's like, don't you look at my toe beans. Alright. You done? You say hi? Okay. Alright. He's like, okay, Mom, put me down. Let me go sulk. I think I said this last week too, but I always underestimate. I've got this little bitty 3-inch ring light, and I always underestimate just how warm it gets. You'd have the most successful ghost hunting YouTube channel and you'd never need to leave your house, right? And he's so cute, nobody could even be mad at me for, like, basically clickbaiting them. Still a little confused about the whole space battle thing. I thought they were just after us, and everybody else was just waiting in line, but... So I don't know who they're fighting now, but okay. Need to remember what my... Currently at 151k. And level 16. 153. Okay. That's my next one. We're off Dantooine now. I was just thinking... That's kind of silly. I'm pretty sure I haven't picked up any new gear that I haven't, like, checked. And I'm glad I, like, clicked before I thought, because I would have thought wrong. I completely forgot that I didn't have my lightsaber. Equipped. Oops, I didn't mean to screenshot that. Crash landing number question mark, because honestly we've had enough at this point. I've lost count. We've got to mention something about a power struggle on Underon. Was a quick flourish. Right.
What have you brought me? No, you have enough. And as I tell all my employees, make do with less. You may speak.
Thanks. Not like it's my ship or anything. I may have asked him this before. What capabilities does your droid possess?
It has been assigned to guard and protect you. As such, it is well suited for a variety of tasks. It is skilled in intimidation, interrogation, and can provide a series of select skills that will make it an effective killing machine. For the most part, it will follow your orders, unless they conflict with mine.
And if they do?
Then its proton core will detonate, turning this ship into space dust. There is no negotiation in this. I will not allow you to interfere with my operations and plans.
I'm not saying this is necessarily a serious consideration. It's just a funny thought that popped into my head. One of those, like, fun RPG what-ifs. Wonder what would happen if I took him with me, switched into solo mode, stuck him somewhere, and went back to the ship and tried to leave without him. Just left him on the moon. Spike that mousy volleyball into the nearest black hole. Yeah, I mean, he certainly is obnoxious.
I am willing to...
I don't remember if I followed up with this one before. On the yacht you mentioned Revan, but Revan sought to destroy the Republic.
A common misconception not supported by facts. Revan did not intend to destroy the Republic. She deliberately left the infrastructure of many planets intact, and many military production facilities.
But why? She had limitless forces.
I believe that by whatever means she used to build her armada, she recognized that it was somehow a limited source, or that she was only willing to use it to a point. My prediction is that whatever production facility was being employed, it carried a price that Revan perceived as detrimental to the goals of the Sith. And that is why Revan left many military production facilities in the Republic intact.
Something like Starforge, maybe. Why? Revan wouldn't need to conquer anything else once the Republic was beaten.
That is what occupies my calculations as well. I believe that Revan saw a war on another front that we did not, or saw the value in keeping a strong military force.
Are you telling me that I saw this, like, hungry void Sith monster dude coming, and I didn't tell myself? How rude. Terrible, terrible Jar Jar Binks impression there. Pretend you didn't hear that. I had Stream Manager up on my phone and somehow it forgot it was open and switched back to Dallas's stream, so my phone started talking at me. Like the Starforge, provide massive amounts of dark side energy to function. Yeah. You know where Revan got her forces?
That is also a mystery to me. I do not have any evidence upon which to build an answer. It is significant that after the defeat of Malak, the forces decreased considerably, and after Revan's departure from known space, production ceased completely. It is my prediction that whatever was producing such forces needed a strong, effective leader to ensure its stability. Without Revan or Malak, there was no such figure left among the Sith.
What about Malak?
Unlike Revan, Malak demonstrated no concern for the future of the Republic in his attacks. His stratagems were painfully obvious, intending to crush all resistance everywhere. There was little thought beyond the complete destruction of anything that opposed him. He left quite a mess. I'm still trying to assess all the damage. Between the two, I would have preferred Revan rule the galaxy. She had foresight in her conquest, a subtlety that Malak did not possess.
It's funny though, the people in this game are constantly confused about Revan, where Revan got all of his, or in my case, her ships. Yeah. That is pretty funny. Do you know anything about the HK droid sent after me?
The assassin droids. I have encountered some, purchased the service of others.
Why are they hunting me?
Why, I asked them to.
Oh, thanks.
To be honest, I believe that was always their intention, but it seems their directive was dormant for some time.
Likely only the Jedi Council and Revan's companions knew about the Star Wars, though? Yes. And it makes a lot of sense that other random thugs in the galaxy like this dude didn't figure it out. Given the whole extreme measures for secrecy thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Jedi Council only ever... Actually... Yeah, I guess they would have found out where it was because when we blew it up, we called in the cavalry. So I guess they would have found out where it was. But I'm pretty sure they only found out where it was because Revan switched sides. I could be mistaken there, but I think that's the case. You know where they're coming from?
If you mean produced, no, I do not. I do know that there are a surprising number scattered throughout the Republic.
I noticed.
Searching for you. What they will do now that you are found is easy to predict.
I noticed that too, believe it or not. What are they doing in the Republic fleet?
They are masquerading as protocol droids. I have discovered that when they are used in negotiations, they have a predictable pattern of sabotaging whatever peace treaties they are involved with.
Yeah, I noticed. Why doesn't the Republic know?
Because the Republic has no reason to investigate otherwise, and any discovery of their true purpose has been concealed by well-timed accidents.
Why haven't you acted on this information?
Because their behavior is predictable, of course. By monitoring their presence, I know which worlds will suffer civil wars, planetary conflicts, and Republic bombardment.
So the whole Republic must be saved thing, still a lower priority than making a quick buck, I guess. He switched sides, or was he a double agent all along? He switched sides. You talking about Godo or Revan? Also, hi. I mean, Revan, yeah, pretty sure switched sides. Godo, I'm pretty sure has only ever had one side, and that's his. Ah, yeah. No, if Revan had been a double agent, somebody would have known about it. And given the lengths that the council apparently went to do the whole, like, memory wipe and implant new fictional memories thing, I feel like somebody would have pointed out that they were doing that on a double agent if that was actually the case. Fun thought, though. They gonna keep coming after me?
Of course they are. They're droids with very specific protocols that, unless changed, will dictate Unless you shut them down at the source, they will be stalking you until you are captured or terminated. Why don't you ask their predecessor? That archaic, memory-impaired assassination droid will know more about his subsequent generations than I would. I am willing to...
It was this question that led to his information about Onderon, I believe. Which is actually why I came over here, but...
There are several factors, all of which affect each other. There is the stabilization of Dantooine, the preservation of the restoration efforts on Telos, the political resolution on Onderon, and the unification of a religious power base in the galaxy, either Jedi or Sith.
Situation on Onderon.
Onderon is an outer rim world, rich in ecological resources. Its aggressive ecology is capable of bringing devastated worlds back to life. It is currently experiencing a political schism split between two forces. One must triumph for the planet to be stabilized.
You mean you don't just like spending time with Godo? He's certainly not my favorite, I will say. As a character, like from a game perspective, he's very interesting. But definitely not the most endearing.
I have studied the holorecord of your trial. I am unsure what to make of it. I must confess that I was searching for some meaning beyond the records. A reason for why one would leave the Order.
I have a guess as to why, given what he told me last time. So, not surprising people started shooting at you. Yavin Hawk is a Republic vessel, and Onderon is isolationists that don't like the Republic, as evidenced on Telos. That's true. Is the Yavin Hawk really seen as a Republic vessel in general, though? Or, like, specifically Republic enough to warrant considering an instant enemy? I mean, it's been through the hands of so many non-Republic people. I mean, apparently it's had at least one or two owners since Revan, because there was that one guy who was like, never mind, I'll give you my ship, it's too much trouble. Why?
Did you know that exile is a rare sentence? It is not really something that the Order can enforce. Believe it or not, it was really your choice.
They meant that to be a double negative. If Jedi didn't not kill their prisoners. Anyway. ID signature says Republic, I believe. Die on Dantooine. Knew it was a Jedi vessel. That's true. That's true. Also, wait a second. I just realized something because you said that. We had a whole quest jumping through hoops to get a new transponder. The whole Godo thing. Did somebody switch it back while we were docked on Godo's yacht? Like, it sounded like it was not something just anybody could do. I mean, maybe not super difficult, but Or maybe it was just making the new transponder that was the tricky part. Yeah, obviously that's the case. What happened to our new one? Sorry, I have the word famous blocked because of the bots. They eventually stopped using that word. I should probably take it out of the auto mod list. But that's why it got held, sorry. You saw the record. It was no choice. It was a sentence.
I don't think so. Perhaps some of them felt strongly about your sentence, but I think something else concerned them. Again, the choice to turn away was yours, not theirs.
Why does this interest you?
Because I, too, turned away from the Order. Under less extreme circumstances, perhaps, but stemming from the same reasons.
Interesting, these are my only two options. I don't believe exile was my choice.
I'm not certain I do either,
but
it is something worth considering.
Interesting. I assume this is the same as before.
Because I...
Yeah. Okay.
Then I shall speak no more of it.
I mean, it was my only other way out of the dialogue loop.
Is something...
What are you doing?
At times, I meditate. Simply close my eyes and listen. It is quite calming. I try to treasure these moments before the next crisis begins.
I order you to tell me how to do the same. Can you teach me to meditate?
Of course. It would be my pleasure.
I mean, I only know battle meditation, I guess. You covered force points and a one-time bonus. Your force points through meditation. Meditate with the disciple at any time if no enemies are nearby. Is that like temporary hit points, but for force points instead? I seriously think people dislike this guy because he's polite and mentally stable.
I try to treasure these moments before the next crisis begins.
It doesn't help that everybody kind of looks the same age. Like, I'm gathering that he's a fair bit younger than I am, maybe? Because it sounded like he started as a child at the academy, like everybody else. But based on the timing of stuff, it sounded like I'd already been a Jedi for quite a while. Full Jedi, when he was in, like, his mid-teens or something. Because he mentioned that I left for the war, and then a bunch of people left, and then there was nobody to train. So I'm guessing around 18, because he was talking about getting to a certain age, and if you didn't have a mentor, you're kind of just shit out of luck. Yeah, exactly. Young enough to not even be a Padawan while you're already a knight. But you can't tell just by looking at him. And I wonder if he looked, like, visibly 10, 15 years younger than me, however much younger he is. I wonder if he would get on people's nerves a little less. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember what... Because we had a whole conversation in chat one night, like a month and a half ago or something, about the actual timeline of everything. And I'm pretty sure Sun told me that at this point, the Jedi Civil War was about 5 years ago. And the Mandalorian Wars were about 5 years before that. So if he was like 18 when the Mandalorian Wars started, that would make him about 28. but it would also presumably make me, like, in my 40s, I guess? And if that... I wonder if people would be a little less quick to dislike him, because he does come across as pretentious early on. And he also comes across as a little bit brown-nosy, like a total, like, insufferable suck-up initially. He goes from, like, pretentious know-it-all to obnoxious hero-worshipping suck-up to not either of those. I haven't quite figured out if there's a particular label for what he currently is, but more like normal person, I guess. But I wonder if the know-it-all and the suck-up phases would be less annoying to people if he looked like he's a decade and a half younger than me, you know? Like one of those, oh, he's just a dumb kid type of things. I don't know. Maybe not, but maybe.
That is hardly surprising. What do you wish to know?
Never mind, I've already been through this. Oh. This is meditation. For a second I was like, wait, just for talking to him? And then I remembered I literally just did a whole thing. I guess I was making assumptions that... Okay, 13, not 18. That makes more sense, honestly. Especially for me to still be as spry as I am. So, he'd be 23, which actually makes even more sense, honestly. So, then assuming I'm remembering the timeline correctly, where the Mandalorian wars were about 10 years ago, he'd be about 23 now. And I assume I would be like 30-ish, maybe 30, yeah, early mid-30s probably. So he is actually still pretty young.
Query, is there someone that you need killed, Master?
Have I done target practice with HK yet? Probably Revan's age. That would make sense. That would make sense. Kind of sounded like they were sort of in the same rough age range.
Statement. Excellent. No doubt one of your allies has turned on you and needs to be dispatched. Which one is it? The annoying pilot? I certainly hope it is not the T3 unit. Destroying him would provide little challenge. It would be demeaning.
Well, I've been giving the little T3 unit the first pick of all the best armor I find, so, you know, it might not be quite as squishy as you think. I hope. That was the goal after all, but hold your fire, I don't need anyone killed yet.
Query, is there someone that you need killed, Master?
Didn't I just answer that? Interesting. Okay. Not what I thought was going to come out of target practice, but okay. Trying to think about who I want to take. On the one hand, the obsessive completionist gamer in me is like, I should take Goto because he's the most recent addition to the crew, and I am almost positive I haven't gained or lost any influence with him yet. And then the like in-character part of me is like, yeah, but there are so many people I would rather have the commentary of. But then also, like, so many of the characters are so interesting so far that part of me doesn't want to miss out on like whatever layers they created to Goto's character, because the more companions I get to know, the more sure I am that they all have some level of layers. Unless, was there anything with this game like there was with KOTOR 1 where, like, I think if I'm remembering correctly, somebody said that Juhani was like planned and then removed and then added back again at like half content at the last minute or something like that. A real old bastard is Canderous, who fought with Exar Kun, likely 60 plus in the events of this game. Kars also had a kid who was at least 18 in the first game, at least almost 50 in this game. Yeah. Kart's kid was 18 5 years ago. So Kart's kid would be about Disciple's age. Oh yeah, I heard something about that too. And I also... Somebody said something about, originally Bastila was supposed to be the main character, or something like that. Oh, it says, I don't know about characters being cut or added, but it wouldn't surprise me considering how rushed the game was. Why is Atten... Interesting. I was about to say, why is Atten's profile picture dark, but then, new question. I swear somebody told me when I first started the game that everybody kind of starts out neutral, like right in the middle, so you can use the, like, alignment for each character to kind of determine how much influence you've gained or lost with them. But I haven't gained or lost any with Goto, and he's insta-evil. I have lost a little bit with HK, but I mean, it makes sense for the two of them to start off evil. That makes a lot of sense. But that also makes Visas really interesting because she did start out right in the middle, despite literally being a Sith. I also haven't gotten as many... I was trying to take Baldur around, because I hadn't gotten as many, like, interesting opportunities to get his input on stuff since Telos. I don't know if there's like a specific event in game that has to happen before you start getting to know him. Maybe that's why he hasn't like come up as much, but at least this is more like an unpaid Sith intern. Oof. I mean, fair. He's also fully good aligned. Gained some influence with him, but I was told that it's like, it's not a relative amount, it's like the same amount every time you get the message. So he had to have started out good aligned, because I'm sure that I haven't gained influence with him more than like 2 times, maybe 3? Which based on everybody else shouldn't be enough to have him Pillar of Light angelic already. I don't know. Probably missing something that probably doesn't even super matter, but curious, you know? Super nerd shit makes way more sense. I'm going super need shit. Okay. Clearly that part was meant to be enthusiastic. I don't know what it has to do with influence, but good luck with your shit, I guess. Super nerd shit makes way more sense. Influence happens in increments of 8. Everyone starts at 50. Interesting. Do you get messages for everyone? Or do you only get messages for ones after, like, that happen after a direct conversation? Because the, like, spoiler-free guide that I looked through was basically explaining that it's not just what you say to them, but, like, your actions. But they didn't specify whether it's, like, companions observing your actions by being in your party, or whether it means, like, whether you decide to fight somebody or not fight somebody, as an example. That kind of thing. If you can gain influence... Okay, you should get a message every time you lose or gain. Interesting. So then, if everybody starts at 50... the people who start with blue or red backgrounds are still at 50. Is that just, like, there to tell me, like, they're gonna be more evil aligned naturally type of thing? Because, like, Kreia is probably the closest to neutral I have who I've actually gained influence with. Because I have a couple of times, but only little bits, and I did lose it once. And her background is still gray. Atten, I know I've maxed out his influence, and he's got the Pillar of Light. I guess T3 is either close to maxed out or fully... I think Visas is maxed out and T3 is close, or something like that. Oh, okay. So her thing will look the same whether I max out her influence or not. That honestly makes sense for HK not to. Now I'm curious if I put... I haven't brought her out in a while. I suppose I will. Interestingly, I'm trying to figure out if there's a pattern with... I was about to say, interestingly, it seems like it's easier to influence Disciple than Baudur, which kind of makes sense given the apparent age difference. But then I realized that I did get a few messages for Baudur early on, and it is still pretty early on with Disciple, and I've only gotten a couple. So maybe it's just that early on, if you make the right choices, then it's easier than making an impression later or something. I don't know. Kreia makes sense since she was the one urging us to go to the temple to begin with. I'm mostly trying to decide between... Well... Mira's interesting, but she had so much action on Nashara that... Yeah. My interpretation was that it was sort of a less well... Maybe not less well-defined, but less publicly defined version of, like, Dragon Age 2's friendship rivalry mechanic, where it's like either one unlocks a different kind of relationship with the person, as opposed to something like... I can't remember off the top of my head if Dragon Age Inquisition had a... Or maybe Origins would be the better example. Or I think if you got, like, low enough approval with them, they'd just leave. Instead, Dragon Age 2 took it and made it so that, like, if you're rivals with them, you have a different kind of relationship with them, but you get just as many interesting options. They're just different ones. That was sort of the impression I got of the spoiler-free influence description, was that it was sort of like that, where it's like, you don't want to be in the middle. The middle is the most boring place to be. You either want to gain as much, or if you're going to lose it, you want to lose as much as you can, basically. Might be one of the first Bioware attempts at an approval system. Yeah. Okay, let me ask this. And if you guys don't know, that's fine, but you guys know so much about this game. I appreciate it. So, Baldur, is there a specific point in, like, the story progression, questline stuff, where it's like you get more questions and can talk to him more and have more opportunities to earn influence with him and stuff like that? Or is the reason why I haven't been able to, like, get anywhere with him just because I haven't, just raw time? I just haven't had him for enough, like, major story beats and stuff. Or had him with me for major story beats and stuff. Because if there's a specific story point where, like, before that you're not going to get much out of him, then I'll spend that time focusing on building relationships with other companions. But that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm talking about. Is gaining influence. Because I gained it with him a few times when we were on Telos. But, like, I brought him with me. I think I had him the entire time on Dantooine. And when we went back to, basically after the Nar Shaddaa thing, where Atten and Mira had fight through the ship and whatever. And I think it was Atten and Visas that I sent. It was either going to be Atten and Visas or Atten and Baldur, who I had be the pair to infiltrate to rescue me from Godo's yacht. And I'm pretty sure I settled on Visas because of the healing. I'm 90% sure I did. But because the three of them had seen so much action, I had Baldur with me constantly since then. And I haven't, like, gotten a reaction from him for anything. I haven't had any new dialogue open up. So I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing one of those things where his story doesn't become accessible until after a certain point, and before then I'm wasting my time using up one of my party slots to take him everywhere with me when I could be building influence with someone else. If that makes sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Sure.
I hear you.
Nothing like that? Okay. Got it. Raw time then. Thank you. That is good to know. Because it means I don't feel like I'm missing something by continuing to bring him with me everywhere. Also, I'm just going to throw this out here since I know we've got a bunch of regular people who've been in chat already tonight. If anybody ever, like, notices that I'm starting a mission where, like, particular companions have, like, particularly interesting comments, or where, like, you would recommend I bring a certain person, feel free to throw it out there. And feel free to not tell me why. I'm always down to take party composition suggestions. I actually, like, Dragon Age Inquisition, when I was playing through that, I actually looked up which companions, because it was such a relatively small party after Origins anyway, that I didn't want to miss out on anything, because everybody had the banter lines, and different people would have different comments in different places. So I actually looked up ahead of time who was the most interesting to take on different missions. Just because like hearing what people have to say, and sometimes I can guess, but like, you know, will do, because the influence opportunities in this game are kind of weird. Ooh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't want to neglect anybody. Partially because I feel like I might have accidentally neglected to be as diligent as I should have been about checking for new dialogues and stuff with my companions in KOTOR 1. Because for a while there weren't any, but also I missed the point where the dialogue fork would have opened up to let me romance Karth. Missed it completely and then locked myself out of it because story events happened. So that's part of why I'm like running through dialogue with everybody, sometimes repeatedly, just to make sure I didn't miss anything, because these people are all interesting. I want to get to know them as well as I possibly can.